Hey everyone, welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. It's great to have you here as always. Thank you for tuning in. And today we're going to be rounding the week out with a victory out of Pennsylvania. This is through the Second Amendment Foundation, and this one is something we've talked about a lot, actually, which is the series of attacks that have been leveled in this country against 18 to 20-year-old American citizens. It is my belief that this perpetration has occurred on multiple fronts because 18 to 20-year-olds are just simply disadvantaged when it comes to bringing grievances against their government. If you think back to when you were 18, 20 years old, I mean, I'm broke now, but that's because I'm a gun guy and I'm into, expensive toys. That's 18 and 20-year-olds are broke because they're just getting their start, and their government has attacked them because they have very little recourse. These tyrants believe that they can get one over because these individuals will be pretty much unable to level the resources against them to actually fight them. And by the time that litigation matures, they won't be 18 and 20 years old anymore. So the point becomes moot. So we've got organizations that are nimble today, that are willing to take up these cases on behalf of these people who have little, if any, recourse. And Second Amendment Foundation has secured a win out of Pennsylvania. And this brings up something very interesting that I think is foreshadowing what's coming down the pipe. That and more after we hear a word from today's sponsor. Quick service announcement for all of y'all. We have now 2 discount codes prepped up for you guys over at Mission First Tactical. One is for the all day everything stuff, everything from their backpacks to their drinkware to the holsters to even the new translucent magazines that they just came out with. Really like the purple ones, by the way. And then a second code that is for everything that is getting ready to go away, about to be discontinued, the closeouts, if you will. Older backpack designs to their range bags to their rifle cases, and even some of the larger drinkware items that didn't quite stick. That is going to be a rolling list that's going to change with time, but it's going to be like 50 or 60% off in many cases. So you can find all that information over at the affiliates page, and special thanks to Mission First Tactical for making today's video possible. The case we're talking about is Laura versus Ivanchek. We've talked about this before, but this is out of state of Pennsylvania, and it deals with carrying a firearm. The commissioner and Pennsylvania State Police are hereby enjoined from arresting law-abiding persons 18 to 20 years old who openly carry firearms during a state of emergency declared by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The judge goes on to further prevent the commissioner and his subordinates from preventing any individual between the ages of 18 and 20 years old who are not disqualified from exercising their Second Amendment rights from carrying loaded operable firearms, including handguns, on their person in public and in their vehicles for all lawful purposes, including self-defense. Okay, Kurt, well, I'm not 18 and 20 years old, so why should I care about this? There are certain things that are built on top of previous provisions. So at some point in time, somebody said, hey, you know what? I think that we ought to do this thing where we don't let young adults purchase handguns because these arbitrary reasons over here. Well, then on top of that, they build all of these other things that are, they make a whole bunch of crimes out of the association with the under 21 purchase of firearms. Like, for instance, we even recently had the ATF say, oh, well, it's not illegal for somebody who's under 21 to have a handgun. They just have to have had somebody straw purchase it for them and give it to them. Keep in mind, that wasn't like somebody stood up in court and like ran their mouth when they shouldn't have. No, this was a filing with the court, as in writing. They said that. So when you force them to defend the positions, more holes open up. So you've created a crack. There's a seam now, and the seam is as follows. In Pennsylvania, it is illegal to prevent an adult citizen from carrying a firearm for self-defense. However, it is still federally prohibited for those people to obtain those firearms through the standard methods. Like a 20-year-old can't walk into a shop and be like, hey, I really like that 1911. Here's the money. Me gets the gun. No, still can't do that. It's still federally illegal. So what we have here is a differentiation between what the feds are doing and what has been ruled at the district court level. And it is not a stretch whatsoever for those people who are now definitively able to carry a firearm in their state to say, but I can't buy one because the feds prevent me from doing it. No businesses around here will sell me a gun because they'll lose their license. Yeah, that's a lawsuit coming down the pipe, guaranteed. And when you start running up the chain of all the things that are built on top of the 20-year-olds can't have, X, Y, and Z because they're not mature enough, but they can be sent to war and drafted into any military organization within our country and be handed a crew-served machine gun and told to go out there and die for their country, but they can't buy a handgun when they come back from duty. And don't give me the military to train thing. Need I remind you of this photo? Need I remind you that this whole series of new Second Amendment related litigation that we've been seeing in the news frequently is all the result of a single case in which the rights of the citizens to carry a firearm for self-defense outside the home was being curtailed by the government of New York. The New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin decision was all because of a little unknown case that happened because the state government of New York was being a pain in the ass. From a single line in that decision, we have ignited a firestorm, a fire sale on gun control across the country. So I understand that this has to do with a group that you may not be a member of, that you may not have any connection to whatsoever. And I get that. However, when the government attacks a group of citizens and violates their civil rights, it gives strong recourse as we walk ourselves up the chain towards the Supreme Court. And I firmly believe that the long-term second-class citizen status held by 18 to 20-year-old American citizens is at its sunset. These are the first couple salvos in that battle, and I believe in my heart of hearts that in my lifetime, in the imminent future, I would say the next couple years, I hope that those are the same thing. I do have a lot of black helicopters that fly around my house. We have leftist organizations that are trying to get me swatted all the time. That we will see the end of this draconian activity and freedom will be restored. Anyway, I hope that y'all have a good weekend, and we'll see you, I don't know, maybe this weekend if something cool happens. But I'm going fishing. Bye.